Stock market is hitting all-time high. Now you may be thinking, it's very easy to make money in stock market. But remember, equities are the riskiest asset class.
1.7% here, a loss of 37 points or so. Apple shares are just getting hammered this morning.
We're down by between 3 and 4.5% generally across these markets. Let's talk about the speed with which we are watching this market deteriorate. We're red everywhere, essentially, down by 4-5%.
We're down over 16%. Dow at the same time has fallen about 18%.
The stock market is now down 21%.
You know why? Because when you are buying shares in a company, you are becoming owner to the extent of shares that is purchased by you. So, when you are an owner, only when the business is making profit, you are getting your share, right? Unlike any debt holder who is getting fixed interest. In equity, there is no invest and forget principle and there is no concept of fixed return. It is directly proportionate to the return that is generated by the company. And just like us, even companies are functioning in fiercely competitive environment. There are many things that are threatening their growth prospect, even the survival sometimes. So unless we give enough time for them to prove, it's not possible to get substantial return here. So only with the long time in the market, it is possible to get the risk premium. Means the premium which company, if it succeeds, which it can pass on to the investors who have trusted and infused the capital in their business. So it's purely high return risk game. Does this mean that you have to totally forget about equity and turn your face towards other asset class? Definitely no. When you consider inflation, which is around 7%, how much return other asset classes are giving you? So is it enough to beat inflation? No, right? So in this way, you have to know how to catch the opportunities and what is the right way of approaching equity as an asset class. In this video, let us see what are the 3 most important things that you have to consider doing before diving straightly into equities. The first one is emergency fund. As the name itself indicates, this is a fund which you will create purely for emergency purposes. Usually, your 6 months to maximum 10 months or 12 months of expenses, you have to calculate and somewhere you have to lock it up, which is safe place. In the sense here, the concern is capital protection. In case of emergency, you should not be forced to liquidate the investment that you have made in the stock market.
Sell it all today.
So, you will not be exiting this investment at loss, but you have something to tap on. It may be anything. It may be FD or even the government securities, money market instruments. See, here, any kind of return that you are getting is plus. The main thing is capital should not be eroded, so capital protection is the first priority and risk should be close to zero. Life is certainly uncertain, right? In case if there are any unforeseen, unpredictable circumstances in your life which pushes you to cash crunch situation, you should not touch your investment. So this should act as a buffer and this should give you a confidence to manage your expenses during that phase. The second one is buy health insurance and term insurance. Let me explain this. Insurance, by definition, it means you are paying premium to a third party by transferring that risk. It is a strategy. It is a risk management strategy. I have to emphasize on the definition of insurance in the beginning itself because whenever we start talking about term insurance, most of the time there are people who will comment that don't be so negative in life. And it is not about negativity, it is just about planning. Talking about medical insurance, the medical inflation in India is around 14% as on 2022 and it is just set to increase. There are multiple factors which are contributing to this, such as India now it is emerging as a top medical tourist destination considering the skill level, expertise and health infrastructure as well as the cost. Many foreigners also, they fly to India, get their treatment done and they go back. So when there is a high demand for certain thing, always the price per unit also will increase, right? This is a simple economics. And more than that, there are higher usage of technologies nowadays and many private payers also. So obviously in private hospital you cannot expect bill to be very low, right? So these are all the factors which will just push our medical bill higher. So now tell me, if you have any kind of medical emergencies, do you want what you have invested in the stock market to be interrupted? For this reason, see, stock market is very volatile, and if you really want to get a kind of return that you're looking for, crossing this volatility, you have to give sufficient time for your return. If you are there only for 1 to 2 years, hardly you will make any money. When it is possible for you to leave the investment as it is, even when there are some unpredictable situations in your life, only when you have other risk management strategies, and insurance is there for that. So medical insurance is must. The second part of this is term insurance. This is an insurance where the amount is payable only in case of death. When I see this, definitely most of you are thinking, why do I need this? I'm not going to die. I'm very healthy. I'm young. So this is like being very negative in life, right? This is not about negativity. It is again part of planning. Why it is necessary? Maybe there is not even 1% chance, but life is unpredictable. Nobody knows what future holds, right? So in case that 1% or less than 1% materializes, our family will not be forced to exit those investment at loss. And when our family is already used to one particular lifestyle or standard of life, we will be relieved that if something happens, certain things will continue, right? So if you are buying this term insurance in your early 20s, the premium is really low and coverage is huge. More you delay, the premium will be more. So the choice is yours. The third and the last point is finish all loans except home loan. Let me explain you why. Equity investment is expected to give around 10 to 12% return in long term. But if you have, say, credit card loans where the interest is around 12 to 25% annually, or auto loans where the interest is 11 to 13%, this will eat up all the return. Before investing in stock market or mutual fund, you have to finish off all these loans, because if you keep this and continue investing in equity, the return generated will not match the interest rate that you are paying here. Only one loan that you can consider having is home loan, because here the interest rate is around 7 to 9%, and the real estate that you have purchased with this money will grow in value around 4 to 5%. Additionally, you also have some tax benefit under Section 80C of Income Tax Act. If this happens, your home loan is going to be a good debt for you. Then only dive into equities, because equities are subject to market risk. There is huge volatility. Unless and until you let your capital be there at least for 5 to 7 years, you will not really get a good return there. So it is very important for us to invest a particular amount which we can afford to invest and forget. Never look at it once invested, at least for 5 to 7 years. So only when you have this kind of financial stability, it is possible to adopt the strategy. Otherwise, if you are full of obligations, if you don't know where your next EMI amount comes from, you will never be able to make kind of real return that is possible from equity. So manage your cash outflow first. Consider having financial stability, then turn your face towards equity. In the last 10 years, Indian stock market had delivered 12 to 14% return. Assuming that it is going to continue in the future, there is no other option except allocating at least certain portion of our portfolio in equities if we want to generate over and above inflation. But investment is always creating a fine balance between stability and risk. For that, as I have said, it is extremely important to secure our future with adequate emergency fund, term and health insurance, and also addressing all high interest bearing debt. If you like this video, share it with somebody who needs it, and don't forget to subscribe this channel.